Hey, oh, let's go. I made some keto hot chocolate tonight. This is butter in here and whipping cream and pure cacao. Okay. Oh. I need to hit the light on above me here. That's what is different. Felt not right. Felt a little dark in the studio. There we go. Ha-ha! Six o'clock. Says so. So let's go. I'm going to draw on the tan tone paper tonight. This has lasted over a year. Unbelievable. The way I treat it, still rocking. But before we do, last week's drawing of Sarabella, who is our digital model this week again. I printed up a small copy that I can trash and do notes and stuff on. I don't want to wreck this one because I can hand it out in some sort of class. But we'll go through and talk about the folding and the just how I think about composing. We'll get rid of this newsprint. I'm drawing on the back of all my sheets now. It's not that I'm cheap. I'm Portuguese, which makes me thrifty maybe. I don't know. It's just practice, so we needn't spend a ton of money on the paper. And this brand of pad, I think it's like 24 bucks for the pad, about $1 a sheet. Really nice paper. I'm using the medium surface tone tan sketch paper by Strathmore. And if you're in Calgary and you come to this studio and you want some of this paper, I bought these in bulk for the students. So, you know, it's easier than going out. Hey, Keith, you don't have to go far. I can look at your work. We can just chat. We can have a coffee. The Atelier is not open. Well, let's just flip through it. One from Ryan from the summer. May 6th. No date. That might have been from like May 20th. So this is, a lot of these are on the live stream. June 3rd. So we'll do one sort of in this style, but I think I might do the shadows in brown like this. That's from Life. And using the pan pastel or the pastel. Oh, this one got scraped down. July 8th. July 22nd. Well, it seems like we missed a week in there. Or I went back to newsprint August 5th. Oh yeah, and a couple of these are missing out of the pages because I sold them. August 19th. I can't believe no one's bought that one yet. That was probably the week after. I think we did 3 of this piece. Bouguereau copy, no date. Just a tonal drawing, of course, simplified. Satyr and nymphs. Also another Bouguereau tonal study. I started doing these master studies for references and practice, of course. The Maestro Michelangelo. After Michelangelo. After Michelangelo. We must be getting to the end here. After Michelangelo. It's the best at men. So I've got a couple sheets left. Enough padding, at least under there, for today's drawing. The other reason I just wanted to go through that is sometimes, you know, you're feeling like you need a little bit of inspiration, or, you know, just a big part of this is, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do charcoal tonight, but, you know, realizing the consistent practice and work you're doing is having some effect. I've got a nice pad of drawings here. So I'm going to do just whatever materials come over me, a whole variety of stuff. I want it to be fun, because sometimes just doing the work gets a little dry. But before we do, let's talk about proportions and planning. For a longer pose drawing like that we do in this session, we have a huge opportunity to plan out our composition a lot more. You know, this color and this value is basically the same, which is why I wanted to do it on here. You see, very, very similar. Let me just zoom in here to give you guys more of a representation. And also, if let's just, I think I have to hit the button to focus it. Okay, so I printed out this little one so I could fold it up and do some examples on it and trash it. Whereas the one I'll actually be drawing from is a lot bigger. It's just easier for me this way. But I don't want to fold this one up because I want to be able to put it in my drawer and have it for future courses and whatnot. So first things first is I just fold it in half. Now this is the first line I always think of in a composition, that plumb line. And the plumb line doesn't necessarily have to be in the center of your page. I could have her offset in the composition. But I find that a center line, whether it's in the middle or not, needs to hit through 3 points. It can't just be floating. You could put a center line down the front of her face to the small of her back and the butt right here. So that's 3 points. Even up here, there's a crossing of the shadow from the scapula here. So that might be nice. You get the front of the face, you get the line down the back kind of idea. We're going to do like more of a gesture drawing when we begin to actually enhance the shape of her body, because as you draw in long pose, you tend to tighten up, you tend to get more stiff, and it tends to be a little bit less interesting and less dynamic. Okay. The other thing I want to look at too is, like, let's just look the size of her head. 1, 2, 3, 4. So using head lengths might be useful for me. The head height is equal to the head width traditionally. Okay, so that's about halfway. So I'm going to fold the paper there. Now you don't have to have your lines in the same place. You could just have them in the actual halfway points. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this, just to make sure we're on the same page, literally and figuratively. Okay, so now I've got quadrants, and I'm going to want that same size below. So I'm just going to fold it, and however you fold, you'll figure out your own way. But I'll fold in here as well. So I could have gone top to bottom, even with this. But I want to hit some landmarks. So here I'm going from the side of the foot across the toe, you know, the trochanter. I bet if I folded it, because it's a little bit taller, halfway, it would have been right on this little lump here, you know, maybe at the bottom of the pearls. I'm also looking here. If I drop an imaginary plumb line in my mind down from the shoulder, I hit the heel and the foot. So this is probably a good distance for me to put a fold. And I mean, they should all be relative to each other. You know, I'm not looking for cubes. I'm looking for relationships. You could do cubes, but then you'll see that if you take the head height out, it goes to here. It doesn't give you an angle there. So I'm kind of folding the quadrants, and each quadrant relates to the overall size and shape of the paper, whatever that ratio might be. So I'm just going to fold it the other way so I get the same distances. So this is just for purpose of home study. I obviously, you don't want to do this every time and start relying on grids, but it's this idea of like, what's where in what quadrant, you know, so that we can start to see these angles flowing. These angles, this angle of the back, because she's lovely and twisted, and everything is at an angle. Nothing is on the straight vertical or horizontal. And that's really an important thing when making a dynamic figure. Even her eyes are tilted. So anytime I'm drawing on this drawing, there's not one line that's going to be vertical to this paper, relative to the side of the page, and nothing I draw, not even this foot angle, will be horizontal. Angles make things dynamic and interesting. Straight lines, though great for structure and buildings and cars and man-made things, don't do well on the body. And that's one thing you can find when you're working. If you see that you're doing straight lines or whatever, run away, stop doing it. So I'm not going to fold this paper, but this is more to refer to, so that you know what I see in my mind's eye. Because you might not see it here on the paper when I'm drawing. Let me just fix the screen. I notice you guys are getting a little gray to the left-hand side. My bad. I can move the screen in OBS. And I just have a whole bunch of tools out because I'm just playing this by ear. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. What's gonna happen? Okay, that looks nice on the dark area. So usually I do Pontomoro timing, and I've made a little video that's gonna go in between during our intermissions, but I'm changing the timing now to 23 minutes because I find that I kind of drop off at 24 minutes anyway, so I'm just wasting that extra minute. 23 minutes and 7-minute break. So a little longer break, but you can always work during your breaks. The other thing is, so I'm going to call this Michael Jordan timing because number 23. So this is the new timing I'll be using for a little while just to see how the flow goes and if it works better. You still get the full 3 hours of practice in. And because I'm working from paper, this one here, I'll stick it beside, but I won't have to switch the camera in and out to face the screen that I normally have in front of me. Oh my God. Guys, seriously, put a dollop of unsalted, maybe salted butter in your hot chocolate and blend it. It's divine. Yummy, yummy in the tummy. Okay, so let's get the show on the road. I've wasted 12 minutes already. I wouldn't say wasted. Guideposts. Guideposts, my friends. And I appreciate you coming out and spending your time with me, because I know we don't have to do anything anymore. I feel really responsible, and you guys are my accountability buddies. Making sure that I do my practice. Maybe I wouldn't on my own. Oh, you still got that gray line there. Let me just try this once more. Seems like I'm losing some of the image from my camera, and that's why we're getting that little gray line there. Okay, hopefully that solves our problem. No, it doesn't. Well then, I'm just gonna have to deal with that little gray line, guys. It's visual, it's the computer's putting that in there, and we're always learning when we do these live streams. Learning, learning, learning. That's actually, that scene looks kind of nice with all this stuff down there. So I think I might draw with pencil or layout. Let's just see what shows up for you guys today. I might use pencil crayons in a little bit. I'm not really sure what I want this to be, and that's okay by me. If it's okay for you, you know, then we'll have some fun. Okay, so maybe for the initial alignment, because I can see that on the screen, I'm going to use some unsharpened HB charcoal and hit the start. Okay, let's go. At the break, I might move the camera down because I keep seeing my head pop in and it kind of drives me crazy. Maybe I'll fix it now. It's all about the adjustments, and every week it's a little bit different. Ugh. Just because of how things are set up. Now, that is shading the light. Not a good plan, Bunny. But at the same time, so it's gotta be, there we go. Let's go halfway in between each. You probably still see my head, but camera's over me, light's over me too. Yes, thanks for reminding me, Keith. Art is not essential. As heartbreaking as that is for me, you know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and a little bit of an uptight Virgo, so it's nice to know that my vocational choice in life is not warranted in society. It's not like I didn't already know that, but it's definitely taking the stress off of life for sure. So let's okay, so I folded it to show you, but quite honestly, I'm not going to use this. I'll use this, and I might pull up a picture in front of me. So my grid might not be exactly the same. The time's ticking. I need some more of this delicious. I'm actually going to see if I can just open up this image on my computer, because I want to see it in front of me. I'm so trained to look ahead of me, like in life drawing, and that really is the point of practicing. Like if I'm looking over here, I'm gonna have to do this the whole video, and it's not gonna look good for you guys. So I'm sure I can find this file somewhere. It's under Sarah's name. It's the other benefit about being an organized artist is I usually name my files. Let's see if I did that this time. The Sarabella folder is ridiculously big. Okay, c'est bon. Let's go. The pearls are going to be a pain. And so what I might do is not draw all the pearls, but just draw the line. And then later, because the pearls are white and a little bit darker than the page, is that I can just color them in rather than drawing them individually. It's a time thing. Oh my God, see this? Oh yeah, you can see the fat floating in there. Butter and coffee, guys, so good. I've had a headache all day, so I think I'm a little bit dehydrated from my coffee this morning. So I might be sipping a lot. You might have to hear me gulping away. And maybe you can hear the birds in the back. So hope you guys could see this on the screen. Just my alignment. Sometimes I'll take a look and just see that I'm sort of there. But we are going to draw today a little bit less structured, less straight lines this week, and all curvy lines. So I'm going to actually draw the, my goal is to draw the expressive part. Like for example, her back is like this, right? It's like flowing. Her body is also flowing. Maybe her butt ends up being here. Kind of circular shapes. More gestural today. Also because it's fun. But we want to feel the lines more. feel the lines. Feel those shapes. First with our eyes, then it goes in our brains, and then let's translate it into our hands. Maybe the body goes like that. This side, let's pinch it in right to the center line. Even though that might not be correct, not exactly. And then we'll turn her shoulder girdle like that. Curving. You know, her arm might end up being more straight. But just getting a feel for things. Just feeling them. Not being as analytical as we do normally in our long poses. It's good to change up what you're doing all the time. I have a lot of students watching these. It's like 94 watches on the last one. So that's quite the audience where not everyone wants the same thing. Okay. I think I am going to bring that shoulder down. It's starting to look a little high. But long curved lines for now. Even though they're describing something fairly straight, the collar, so to speak, the shoulder girdle, but even they're not perfectly straight. They curve. They have an intention, or a belly even. So we've got this nice curve. So we're going to emphasize these things. So here, her hips are quite round. Her seat bone kind of travels in this direction. Here, I'll just move up a little bit for you. And thanks for joining in, those who are here. Thank you, Keith. Also, the comments do a lot for this YouTube algorithm. So sometimes it sounds like I'm just talking out, but I'm actually responding to what people are putting in the live chat. Yes, we might have to make her a little bit thinner here. She's getting up pretty wide. And it'll be a little bit more cartoony looking. But because we'll shade it and whatnot, it'll have that realistic appeal still. So this would be the calf. I don't want her feet to go off the page, so I'm going to limit where they're going. Somewhere behind the hip. I squint my eyes and I combine them together as if it's a mermaid tail, you know? Just to get that structure in there. Just to be sure, I'm just going to make a little quadrant. And some of her calf would go over it, so I'm doing pretty good so far. So I'll start with, you know, this is half. Curving everything more than it looks. That'll be her toe. And kind of idealizing the forms. So we're not going for, I think I even put in the write-up that we're doing a rendition. You know, we're not trying to get a totally accurate, realistic looking figure this day. Some design is going to go into this. Some enhancement. Because even if I draw these pearls, they're always going to look a little bit funky. So I'm going to draw them as a grouping or a string first. I'll have to erase this out, but kind of center of gravity is there. The other ones follow down, and they just barely touch her waist, if that's in fact the place that they're going to be. And it's actually two strings, but I can just draw this line, and this can represent the space between each pearl. So I can keep that line in that way. Whereas this one, I'll put the pearls right on it, maybe just above it. I find that if you put the pearls just above it, the thickening of the line here acts as a shadow. So you just have to choose your battles, because it's going to be a lot of painful work. You can see drawing all those pearls in, if that's the intention, which we'll see. It's time. We are doing our practice here for 3 hours. That's our promise to ourselves. Whoa, this hot chocolate is separating. I might have to mix that back up at the break. Okay. Let's do the curve of her jaw. Something like that. And the curve of her face. So I kind of ignore her nose coming off and I kind of go, well, how does the chin, and at what angle does the chin meet the forehead? It's a curve. It's a face mask. And remember, we took that measurement at the beginning, that it's equal and also equal. So giving myself a framework is also important, not just in drawing, in life. We got to work within our constraints. One of these constraints is our timing. So I'll curl the head, curl the hair back, and it comes back in. So her neck is almost in alignment with her mouth, and it comes down at an angle. So I'm going to curve it as well. Curve it more than it looks. When we're doing the classical, I urge you to use straight lines, but one of the tricks here is having a nice curving line for the neck will make it look like her back is more elegant, even though it might actually be right there. I'm adjusting these things for the sake of the art. We're allowed to do that. We don't always do that. Not here, at least. There's the overall shape of the total amount of hair. Within it, there's waves and all sorts of fun stuff. I might indicate her eyes are actually traveling at this angle. I might just wing it on this face. Curve, she's got that adorable little button nose. I'm just taking a measure. Just go a little bit out from there. Drawing it like anime for now. Stylized. Her face is in shadow, so we can get away with this. We'll get a nice refinement later. There we go. That's quite the nose I've made. Like a ski jump. That's a little bit more realistic. Okay. That way our brain is just like, oh yeah, that's the head. Now I'll finish off the chin, even though the shoulder is over it. 1, 2. Make it a little bit smaller. Her mouth is slightly agape, and so the rule of thirds, not really all that useful. Thirds of her head, so here to here, here to here. But we can change where they are. We don't always have to use our divisions that some book told us. Draw what you see, not what you know. I remember always being that said to me, draw what you see, not what you know. And you can tell when people are making mistakes because their brains are filling in what they don't know, and or what they want you to know. It's funny because I didn't really feel like talking today, and it's just been one of those days where I'm getting phone calls like crazy and I'm on autopilot talking again. I didn't think I was going to, so lucky you. Okay, where's your nostril? Somewhere around here. So, I mean, that's the plan. That's all I need. Because I've got 8 minutes left, I am planning on maybe using brown. Because I have this tone of her skin already in the background. I might not shade this black. It might just be too flat. This area can be black. That area can be black. So I'll start with my darkest darks as I would in a painting. And then after, I'll take a break and I'll run to my bin and I'll get another material to draw in. And it might be, as Keith says, this paper takes pastel very well. So maybe I'll pull out those pan pastels. I don't know. I kind of want to use the Conte, but it's so gritty for this paper. So we'll just get some charcoal in for now. It's cheap. You guys have it. You should have it. If you're here drawing with me today and you don't have charcoal, I don't know how I've led you astray. We do have an indication of an ear here. So we can kind of show that. Drops her shadow under her jaw. Much higher up and thinner for a lady. Okay. And then I'll then draw the shoulder over top. So I'm just working from top down. To me, I've made her arm much too macho for this dainty little face that we're doing. If I triangulate off of it, you know, it should be more down like this, more thin. So we'll just kind of remove those lines. There's going to be some light and darks and lost edges here. So I don't want to overdraw here. I don't want to lock myself into anything. Kind of forgot this hand shape. Often I leave the hands till last because the model tends to move. This case, she's not going to. So I think about the overall architecture of the hand. Where it's landing, where its angles are coming up as an overall shape. Because I can build shapes within that. Simplified. So there's the second finger, the top of it. Here's the third finger, and it's not a straight line, it's tapering up and then it turns down. And we're just trying to look for the shapes that we can see. If you can't see something, don't make it up, just simplify it. Definitely make it more simple if you can. So that's a lot of detail. I went a little far in the guise of an explanation. Let's use our curve line again. And then just get a little the intention there. All right. Hey, there's my roommate Ray Ray on the chat. Thanks for stopping by. Keep up the good work. He's in his studio, which is directly below my bedroom. So it's good that he's working in there now and hopefully not while I'm trying to sleep, because his style of work includes a lot of hammering sounds and swearing, lots of cursing and stress. Oh, maybe I'm just a huge fan of butter. I don't know. So let's look for, we have our achromium process around here. This arm tilts a little bit more, making it a little more feminine. What else can we put in? The shadow underneath this neck, which just kind of makes for this little triangle. And in here, let's actually make her neck a little bit longer by waving the shoulder kind of down and then up. So you can bring her chin up smaller. So it's still covered. And this gives us a chance to put in here the little pearls. I like that. I'm just going from the eye line through the nostril to get the side of the mouth, just to kind of give me that structure. Sarah's nose actually kind of turns up a little bit here. There we go. It's a little closer to what my nose looks like than that flat ski hill I was doing. There we go. Okay. What else can we do in this time? Well, we should indicate where these pearls are going. They go up, they curve down, curves, right? No straight lines. And then they curve up and they curve down. So it's like a seagull or an M shape. And they're pinched at the neck and they open up across. There'll be shadows underneath them. So as if the string is in there, and they're turning too because there's little clasps. We don't have to get that far. Now this is all a lost edge. In truth, you can't see that in the reference material. But we can see these pearls coming over, so they kind of signify that shape, that cascading, and then falling at a slight diagonal. They're curving in. That's just gravity at work. And the gravity is that vertical line, that plumb line. That really is our gravity line. Don't always explain it as such, but it's stabilizing. It's the first line in drawing, or building a building, or putting a telephone pole on something. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Let's make this mouth shape a little less open by extending this filtrum. I like where the nose is going so far, so I'll keep it. It's not like we're sketching and planning today. Like, I can just go for the drawing. We don't often. We also don't see all this because she's in shadow. This is going to be that dark brown. But I need to do it to find out where I am, right? So, bottom lip, we'll round it a little bit more than it appears. And we'll scoop this in. So you'll see at the end, like, the stylistic choices, how they play out. What I want to do is study some pin-up style in the future, maybe even some tattoo style, because they're really good at simplifying what's important with what they have to work with. Okay. So 7 minutes. I am going to look for some browns and maybe the pan pastels at this break. And I don't have the Let's All Go to the Lobby special. It didn't output from After Effects in time. But in the future we'll have a little different music, and we'll all learn that it's important to take a break and stare at our work. Maybe every week I'll change the background so it's at least interesting. But on OBS, I guess I can put up this file. So I'm still learning. But let's also take a picture for the old social media of all the steps. So take 7. I'm going to find some more art tools. Have a pee. cheap pencil crayons. So we might use those. I got the pan pastels. I haven't used those in months and months. Watercolors. Oh. Color pencils. Promising. Oh, yeah. This is break, but I'm still going to talk. I keep everything labeled and stacked in my shelf. If you ever come to the class, you'll see my organized art supply area. And the reason I have that is because you never know what you're going to need. And also with instructing and whatnot. So I've got Prismacolor, new pastels, some Unison color pastels. These are 130 bucks, but I don't believe I have flush tones in here. Oh, this is outdoor and nature. Landscape. See, it says right on it. Okay. Pencil crayons, poly pencils. Maybe we'll use these Lyra. I bought some pencil crayons, like 72 pencil crayons at Sprawl Mart at the back to school. These might be nice. At the back to school time, looks like someone sat on it. They're like under 20 bucks. And then all my pencil crayons. And back to the organized Virgo thing. I use these as my kids' classes, so I'm very particular about putting them in separate colored bags. I've got the whole rainbow here. Black and white, earth tones, which are all your browns, purples, blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds. So warm and cool, earth tones and black and white tonal values. So we have all those too. So whatever happens, happens. I might go with pencil crayon. I don't know. I kind of want to use those cheap ones and see how they work on this paper. But it seems like I'm always doing these experiments. And I like what Keith said in the notes about these getting the color on there quick. So I might put the shadow work in with these guys and the tools that come with it. I think they're in here. The 20 color portrait set. Well, it's a back portrait. Last week we talked more about the muscles and stuff, and I think you know, growing is always an important thing. Yeah, the colors are like right there. Although that's not the shadow colors I need. Growing and moving forward is the goal. If it's not uncomfortable, we're probably not growing. If we're not banging our heads against the wall a little bit and not knowing, we're probably not growing. And though there's merit to just practice, and I'm here every Wednesday doing the practice, there's also merit in having some fun creatively. And it feels like during this Mercury retrograde, that might be just the thing to do. Hopefully, it's a good enough drawing for you guys. But I don't need these yet. I got a minute left on this break. I'll probably make 2 of these chocolate milks. That was so delicious. I'm on the keto diet, so it's constantly shoving fat in my face. I started it last January 23rd. Not this January, last January 23rd. And then I had some hiccups and the influence of others. You know what? Diet is a big mess. It might as well be put in the pile of religion and politics. People getting involved and saying their piece, and it just pisses people off. So I'm not preaching it. It's really working for me. It's really helping me with my psoriasis and getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It does do that. It makes you sleep less. Sorry here. And I'm never hungry. All that fat. Okay, so let's do 23 again. Michael Jordan. I'm going to continue with the drawing part, more illustrative, before I get in messing with my colors. I I like how it's looking, so I want to keep in that vein. You'll also notice today that I've got a pencil extender, of course, because it's a great thing. You should have a bunch of these. If you have, there's Derwent, there's these squeezy Hercules things. There's the handmade ones. These ones are great. Because when your pencil gets short, it helps you have that control and balance. But also you'll notice I'm not just using it as I do with the tonal life drawing style. I'm also using my tripod grip and drawing more illustrative, which is how I'm getting more of these small arc effects rather than using my whole shoulder and my arm. Okay, 23andMe. I'm actually really want to find out my DNA now because it's very interesting. At first I was kind of more of a conspiracy guy about that 23andMe, like they're tracking us, they want to know all of our DNA. Well, that could help for creating vaccines and things, or recalling me back to the factory. Who knows? I also fixed my glasses here. They've been broken for a while. I got these cool Ray-Bans from this girl who was staying at my house this last week, a little couch surfer. She gives me these Ray-Bans, and the lenses were so scratched up from being in her purse, they weren't going to be usable as glasses. And I had sat on my glasses a number of times. I've had these for a long time. I bought solid metal glasses so I could sit on them. But I took the Ray-Ban sides off, so like turtle and pink. It's like, I feel like I did like a custom job on these bad boys, and they fit so much better than they did before. Okay, so it's arcing up. I need to bring it down a little bit more. It's going up, it's rounding out a little too much. But if you think about, what's his name? Algavin or those pinup artists, it was everything was simplified. Or more modern would be like Olivia. The 14-year-old boy. Guys the same age as me will remember Olivia. You could buy these cards for the 14-year-old boys who were perverts, but couldn't buy the real deal. Now it's just a click away. She does beautiful portraits, and they're just like on white backgrounds. Beautiful figures. A little bit pornographic though. So that's kind of not there. So I'm gonna look now to the dark sides, and I mean there's a curving line here. It's an S, and this one's pretty straight, but it's slightly concaved out. So I want this overall twisting form. And the other thing that I'll look at is where I see this as her arm, and her hip is right here. So her hip is beyond her ear, pushing it even further. Oh my! Fortunately, that's all in shadow anyhow, so I think we'll drop the necklace a little bit further. There's a lot of tension with it just kind of bouncing there, but I'll use it to create a little bit more shadow on her form. A little bit of design work, never hurt. Changing the drape. Just imagine like a backless dress or something. Drop this down a little bit more. So it's going to be different than what we see. Sometimes the Atelier style drawing of rote copying can come across a little bit boring, although you get technical merit points because often those drawings are done for 20 hours plus. I don't know if anyone out there has even drawn that long on one thing. I certainly have, and it's a mind F. It's like a Vipassana retreat or something. It's hard. You go through things, and you need encouragement from your art coach to help you see your way through it. We all tend to stop too early, myself included. That worry of breaking it, I guess, plays heavily. So let's go shoulder, And then there's like a scapula, slightly flexed. But let's not overdo the concave shape here. And then that's actually the arm. So that's actually shoulder, I don't know, maybe tricep. Looks like it's hanging. So let's straighten it out a little bit. If it's just the arm and not the body. I'm gonna use the side and draw in the shadow shape. Shadow shape describes the actual form as it falls on her body. Underneath the necklace, we get the shape coming up. And I gotta go back go back to my screen. I need to see it a little bit bigger. Yeah, it is there. That's gonna curve down. There is a highlight along her hip right here. You see that? So we definitely want to pay attention to that. So that becomes our shadow shape. And that helps put that hip up. I'm just gonna follow down the hip. Originally I was gonna work the side a little bit more, but I kinda wanna get these curves right here. So yeah, I was thinking about doing some master copies. I don't know if I could even call them that. Some learning from those great illustrators of like the 1950s and stuff. Those pinup drawings were so good. And there are aspects I think I would like to bring into my artwork. It's kind of like studying Muka. You know, you have your reasons for it. Now, to find the butt crack, I am going to drop a plumb straight line down from her face, just to make sure. I look up, I look down, just to make sure I get the hip wide enough. I might be losing some of it here. It is in from the shoulder, but I've kind of enlarged it to make her look even more glass shaped. What those time glass shapes. Hourglass, that's what. I like how I'm still using terminology of things. I don't know anyone with an hourglass. Things we still use as metaphors but don't actually have in our daily life. We do here at C-Space. Actually, there's that installation on the second floor here by Caitlin and Wayne. A wonderful piece. And when I had kids classes, I would bring the kids down at noon, because at noon all of the hourglasses line up. And they all spin at once. Okay, so let's also pull up her back. There's this vertebra right there. And it turns in. This is the center of her neck, so it kind of would turn like that. Should put that vertebrae right there then. Straight across pretty much from that shoulder. These shadows here are going to be very subtle. So if I indicate it, that's enough. It'll bring your eye there. It might become, a little bit of a light point later, right there. But for now, it's good. Her whole face will be in shadow. I'm going to build it up, and her hair will be dark. I'm jumping around. I can't do all of it in one area. I'll fool myself. Sometimes you need the value shapes to help you see around your piece as well. So I see the weight of the muscle here, and it turns. So this is her, the side of her trap. Here's the side of the spine of the scapula. Teres major and minor you can see on her back. And then it's a little shadow here. So there's that little catch of light right there. There's the teres. Infraspinatus is this one. Not that it matters. As I always say, it doesn't matter if you can name them. Sometimes it helps you, especially on a back, dance around the parts. So because I've rounded out her whole shoulder, I have to make up for it in my design as well. So we're going to drop a shadow onto the shoulder, which is going to arc along it. Then we're going to have this roundness and lightness up here. And we'll curve the shadow that travels down her arm a little bit more. So sometimes I like to think about it like I'm pinstriping a vehicle when I'm designing for more simple and a little bit better. It's not exactly what I'm seeing. Like even here, I think I could bring this back more. I don't know, this might get obliterated too in the pan pasteling or whatever I decide to do. It's not precious, it's not art. We are not essential. I think people will find that artists are essential, but the definition of what an artist is might change, because a creative mindset is as important as maybe having those heroes of sports. To me, the heroes of sports are meh, I don't care, right? And that's fine if someone doesn't care about art, for sure. And yet they'll take their kids to the museum if they go to Paris, so that's good. Culturally, we still know it's important to show kind of the height of civilization, the beauty of man through time and its creations. I don't mean to be so poetic all the time, guys. It just happens. Okay, so a little shadow in the hands, just to see where I am. It's nice to know you're paying attention. Okay, right about here, I'm just gonna kind of visually draw a line across below the vertebrae, and there's this little fold here that happens right there, and then it kind of just disappears. That's just under the armpit. Okay, straight across is where the fold is, and right about there actually. It just folds this way, then the lat goes this way. I don't know if anyone, this is probably how people normally draw. I don't know if anyone follows the line like this in their own personal practice. I'm gonna find a point across the hip. That's where I see the arm meet, actually. And also where the arm meets, the direction starts to change, shoots back out. So we'll emphasize that a little bit more. So this pushes up to her rib cage. It's kind of the soft area of the body. And also, we see a slight indication of the breast. And that was my horizontal line. I don't know, it's around there. Nice rounded shape, met by another rounded shape, which is the hanging bicep. Sounds mythical that way. And looking at the negative shape, I'm not drawing the arm. I'm drawing the negative shape. I'm drawing what that tan square looks like. I'm like, when I do these things, I'm bridging like, is this instructional? Am I just talking out loud to myself? What the hell is going on here? I guess I should say heck, because YouTube's picky. They still haven't reinstated that one video. I appealed, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe they lost it. Who knows? Let's get the bottom of the arm slightly curving up. And then you can see I have this little design here. That's the end of the elbow, the olecranon or olecranon. The back of the elbow, the tricep, there's this house shape kind of tendon. It's quite flat. I'll just indicate a little bit. It goes flat, and then you have the tapering up of the tricep. With a little, whoa, I bulged that out. She's got strong arms, Sarabella, because she does aerial. So we'll give her that muscle there. But we also need to get kind of the side of the epicondyle here. And we'll curve it up. So I'm gonna try to get this more into a less extreme shape. Unify it a little bit. You see I changed the grip when I'm drawing that way. Okay, so that's where that's gonna live. And you know, it might be slightly higher, the forearm. Okay, the other thing that I should do here is there's a shape of cast shadow that's darker than the brown. So this is gonna be something that's more in this black range. So we're gonna have the blackest shadows. We're gonna have our dark brown shadows pushed towards the black, and then we'll have the brown. So this is the darker, the darker, the darker. Sit hard there. Shadow under the armpit. Well, at least there's material there, right, with this charcoal. Okay. Pretty. Maybe even this will be darker. We'll see. I might unify that hand. It's a little bit less important to me. All right, we're rocking and rolling. It gets very dark down here, but if I squint my eyes, I do see that this is some of the darkest light across from where that arm shape and hip intersect, and there's this light and dark here. That's where I see the spine turning. And also this light and dark shape. It's almost like it's curling this way to describe like a waistband around her body. It's actually going down more, but we can't see any of this one. There's a flex in the lat and going down to where the oblique is. A little light shape. So sometimes I'm drawing the shadow, sometimes I'm drawing the edge of the light shape, because I need a little map. You can almost combine those to one. All dark brown, Maybe I'll curve it at the side here to give her more illusion of shape. Have that nice flowing line. And then it comes down her backside. So, across here. So her hips are tilted, like so. And the bottom here, the coccyx is like a soft mound. There's the Venus's dimples right there, which we might accentuate. Maybe. Like that. The triangle that goes down. Probably a little smaller than that, but this gives us that shadow shape. So we'll round the butt out. Often it's with the hourglass shape that people cheat. Kind of, they simplify the visual of what it is to be a woman into that. And then you're like, you know, it's like looking at a bathroom sign. You're like, yep, that's a woman. If I look here, there's a turn. The turn is above that shadow, and it kind of flattens out. But I'm doing it soft, a little bit soft, because it's gonna blend in with her cast shadow on the ground, which we will put in. It's the cast shadow, helps us to raise the figure off the page. So it is part of the drawing if you want to describe some sort of three-dimensional space. Her sit bone has a little indication, and then it's pulled tight across the hip. So sit bone, then across the hip. And by, I mean, that's a simplification, but I'm accentuating them, which makes them a little more cartoony as well. But also by including them rather than just making one big round shape, it shows that you know a little bit more with your drawing, but also it brings it to further towards that idea of the realism that we're after. So we got 30 seconds. There will still be a little bit of shadow mapping in this part of the leg in the next session, but as you can see, we're getting a good graphical representation. One more sitting and we'll go on from there. I'm going to erase the shape out. It's got to stay light. But this 23 minutes seems to be the perfect amount, probably because I'm trained to do the full 25. And we'll stop. Let's have a little break. Because I have all the art materials and stuff around me, let's only take 5. Because I would like to, it's only 7. We've been drawing for an hour, and that's fairly good where we've gotten. But I talked for 12 minutes before we even started. So I want to make sure we get this drawing done, and who knows what kind of mistakes I'm going to make as we progress forward. Mistakes are part of it if you make them. You can't feel bad about them. And I want to heat up some more of this delicious, not sugar either, just stevia, cacao powder, butter, and some whipped cream. It's delightful. Alright. Boys and girls and lizards and whatever else is joining me. Here's my other. Look at you blend it up and you get this like nice foam on top. But the problem is I have a magic bullet and you're not supposed to put hot liquids in a magic bullet. And I've wrecked 2 magic bullet containers already. I should check to see online if they sell glass ones. But I don't have a regular blender at the studio. I need something very small and compact. But you have to blend the fat in and it makes it like umptuous and thick and delicious. You can also put in like collagen peptides and stuff. I put hemp oil in here and it tastes nutty now. It's very interesting. The last 2 nights. Oh, wait. Before I go off on the tangent, which I'm very good at tangents. We're ready to draw again. This will be the last session of drawing in the shadow shapes, I swear. I want to get the leg and bottom stuff good. Sorry. I got friends texting me too. Should be turning the phone off. But sometimes I get warnings that my camera's not working or my head's in the way. And I thank you guys for that because I'm busy drawing. I can't worry about being the photographer as well, although that's part of the gig. Should have the elbow, I think, a little bit lower. Actually, I like how it looks. I like this arm so far. Okay, let's work this lower area. And there's going to be some softening needed. We'll go from the calf was a little bit higher. So let me just see. If I go half, gotta drop that calf down, I think. I don't want it so close to that elbow, or it's that hanging. Maybe they can almost touch, right? I'm changing the design, of course. I could also move the legs slightly down and in. It's going to be drawn soft though, so it's a little bit more lost. Maybe like that. And if I look across, that's where the heel is, right? That's the shadow shape. That's where the heel is. We've got a soft transition of light. Okay, here. Across the butt, going up. There's some nuances here. Kind of goes in a shape like this, and then it comes up and across. So if you squint your eyes, you'll be able to see that light. But like I did up here, I'm going to design it a little bit more. I thought for a second that was a beauty mark, of which I have one there. It's a Care Bear heart. Funshine Bear. You might think I take life too serious, but little do you know, when the pants are off, the comedy begins. Because men just in general look a little bit funny. And that's what makes the comedy. Okay, up we go. So just refining more. I'm using the side of a very blunt pencil. Why not? Okay, what about this? Curve it. So it's kind of like halfway between comic book drawing, I guess, this type of illustration. It's okay. As long as it looks good. We are working with a visual medium. I forgot to set the time. I'm gonna say 20 minutes. The thing is it's only just after 7, so we're good. Oh, look at the butter. It's actually ghee that I'm using, which is clarified butter, and it does have salt in it. So salt and chocolate work really well together, for the record. Think of it like as if I was drawing ink lines, you know, what would be different in how you do this. We're designing a little bit, because so often we are just replicating. Sometimes we need to step out of that in our practice and figure out how we would like things to look if we could design them right from scratch. There's already a beautiful photo of this pose, so it's my job in this case to enhance it a little bit. And some might argue that that's not necessary, that I should just draw it the same. But I want to play with some color and stuff and see where that brings me today. There's this little flexion of muscle here, and it comes up her back. That will be color, so we won't worry about that. Shadowy halftones. It's not quite light. There's light right there. Barely. So a lot of this is going to be described, the brown. If I take that piece of paper and put it over here, you'll see what I mean. Value-wise, light. That's this area. And if you look at the darks, right? It's got to go a long ways to get to where it needs to be. And that curvature happens there. There's one down the back of the leg. And more pinkness on this calf. So we'll probably bring in this warm, cool color thing going on. We'll see. So I guess I'll get this heel in. I'm not sure how much detail I'll put into these feet. I love this design shape already. It's interesting to me. The arch of her foot is more expressed in this. The ball of the toe to the toe itself. I mean, I've got my shapes in here, so I just have to make sure things fit in to the whole plan. There's a toe. And not to work too much on this in terms of the detail, because then people will only focus on, you know, where I'm telling them to look, which might seem like I only want them to look at the foot. There's this curve in here. So I might need a little more toe. I might have to add toeage right there. See, the pinky toe is in front of the toe, but I need that toe out a little bit more before I can get in that pinky toe for where I've designed it. It's my drawing. Do what I want. Maybe that's why we're not essential. I just do what I want. If you're essential, it's like you have to do what someone else tells you to do. Do what we want. We're paying you. I'm not being paid to do this. Do this because I love it. There's that saying that everyone loves to quote when they hate their job. That if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I can tell you right now that, yeah, you still will. It's not that straightforward, unfortunately. So I'll combine the heel shadow with the shadow shape as a dark. The darkest dark. which will make probably pretty close to black. There's a lot of warm in here, and her shadow is warm, so it might help set it off by cooling off this darkest shadow a little bit, just for a little bit more variety as well, like finding a cooler black, and then having a warm shadow, and then the transition between the shadow shapes and the darkest light, or like a dark halftone, red up a little bit or cool off a little bit, and then go to this towards the tan paper, and then maybe, actually the tan paper is probably our cool light, maybe put a little bit of white, a cooling white on some of these. Just the pearls are going to have a lot of that too, but having that warm and cool can really help give a little bit more depth to the piece. Just make it seem a little less flat. There's the shadow a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, let's finish these feet. I think really what happened is I put that arch too high by angling it so much. But I don't dislike it so much, so I'm going to just, maybe I'll just smooth it out a little bit. I think that's the real solution. Creative problem solving, right? That's where, you know, I know we might not be essential, but I think about even guys like Elon Musk. He's got these science answers, but he's so creative in his solutions. And that's what art teaches us, how to be creative, how to kind of let go of the pressure and stress of having things be right, and then instead find a new way, and maybe possibly how things can be a little bit better, at least in terms of aesthetically. So here's the shadow of the back calf. I'll shape that bone out a little more. Now her heel's dirty, but it's also a little bit in shadow. We won't make that black. We'll make that the same brown as her back. And where this toe goes, we'll drop this toe. I'll move up a little bit. It's hard for me to draw like this, but maybe I can zoom in even. I totally have to like move where I am to do this. Okay, what about that? Okay, sure. There's a line from her shoulder down that I can follow for that pinky toe. And the pinky toe begins where this toe is pointing. At least that's how I see it. Maybe if you see it a little bit different if you're drawing along. So that originally designed shape was a little off. A little bit. So I'll just bring it back. That's the thing about drawing curves. We are, as humans, actually pretty bad at judging them. So it's more like you're feeling them a lot of the time. You use a lot more intuition than you think in this practice. I don't know, something like that. The toes. That toe. All right. I think we're good. You can kind of see the separation between the big toe. It's more the shadows that do it, but put a little too much concaveness there, convexness. And then underneath it. Can you guys still see that? can still hear the birds. So that's good enough for now. We're not going to overwork those feet because we have other more important things to do. I'll just put the half, like just put that darker value in there. I think I'm pretty much ready to go on the shading of these forms now. We'll fortify some of the line at the end on top. And before I do that, I just want to do a little cleanup. And then we'll decide what the heck are we going to use. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go with Keith's vote, or his suggestion in the comments, which is the pan pastel because they cover quick. And I don't have any of my pan pastel tools. Oh, there's this little tool that you would use if you're doing eyeshadow, I think. Can I use this as eyeshadow? That's a good question. I wonder. So I'm looking for some sort of warm dark brown. I don't know that I have it. That's all right. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit darker. I think there's like a color chart or something in here. No. Oh, it's on the back. It's on the back. Okay, so the colors I got with this kit. So I'm looking for either this burnt sienna shade, this raw umber shade, or this red iron oxide shade. This looks like burnt sienna. It's very light. Let's see what it says on the back. Burnt sienna. Okay. I mean, it's not that close to that. I think I'll use this for sure, but not for the main part. I want to go dark right away. I'll read the back here. Red iron oxide shade. No, tint. You can't really see the colors from the side very clearly. But these things are so compact and expensive, actually. So just use whatever you have. No, that's like clay colored. It's too bad the names don't go across the side, but you know, it's a little bit of work to figure out what you got where if you stack them like this. They're actually pretty cool and they have a lot of pigment in them. Let's take a guess. I'm gonna guess that's our raw umber. Okay, so I want, wow, really? I don't like that at all. We want the burnt sienna shade or the red iron oxide shade. We're going warm here. Violet. I guess this is better done at the break, but hey, this is how time fell. There's 6.5 minutes left still. Permanent red tint. Ooh, that's fun. That's really bright. Come on, baby. Orange tint. Are you even getting close? What's this one? Raw umber shade. Right now that Jenga song is in my head. Jenga, Jenga, Jenga. I take a block from the bottom and I put it on top. Red iron oxide tint. I think that's what we wanted. No, we wanted red iron oxide shade. I take a block from the middle and I put it on top. Aha! I think I found it. That is closer to what we want. I hope this isn't burnt sienna and I've just gone back through the exact same colors I just went through. Red iron oxide shade. Bing, 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 bing. Bunny, we have a winner. Okay. That kind of stuff goes on in my head when I'm working by myself. Lots of singing and telling myself jokes. All right, 5 minutes left with this little makeup brush. Everywhere that there's this halftone, including her face, I'm going to put in this. Oh, this is a beautiful color. Keith's right. This is very fulfilling. I forgot. He convinced me to buy these just by watching him use them. He didn't try to sell them to me, but oh, they're lovely. And they really do work on this paper nice. I am in no way affiliated or supported by Pan Pastel in any way, shape, or form. Yet. You know, I only really put makeup on at Halloween, but it feels the same. It's very soft. Could just be this tool. Oh man. Keith, if you're still there, maybe you can answer my question. If I spray this, is it gonna ruin it? Am I gonna if I put on like thick impasto kind of application, will it stick? I'll check the messages if you're listening. Hey, Jeff, thanks for coming. Always appreciate the support, even if you just put this on low volume and it's kind of like I'm in the room with you. It really means a lot to me that anyone watches this. I guess it keeps me accountable. That's kind of my benefit. I don't know what people want to see. Like I said, I'd be doing this anyways, so it's kind of nice to have you guys here and hopefully inspiring you in your own practice to square away this time. I'm gonna drop that. Dropping that where that shadow begins. Oh, sorry. Here. Down further. I think it's too high up. And you know, these get archived on the old boob tube, boop, boob. So that's kind of cool. The experience that I had last week, although it was Mercury retrograde, so everything that could have gone wrong with the stream did go wrong. The entire building C-Space. First, YouTube dropped it. I don't know if it thought there was music. And then, I was thinking if you spray it. Okay, great. And then, all of C-Space later in the part 3 lost internet. And I was the only one in the building, so it only really affected me. But of course, you know, it's the big, not the big 4-0, but the big 4. And it's got to die on me, right? Okay. I feel like this material, like I do about most pastel works, is it's not going to last. So I might spray it and then draw on top of it again, just to be sure that the line and stuff sits on top and this stuff kind of gets glued down. Wow, you can do really subtle things with these. I had no idea. I hope the less subtle things stay. It's a little bit like painting, but a little bit more immediate. So that's always a nice thing, actually. Been painting birds all day. Feathers on birds. Feathering feathered birds. Be painting an osprey and an eagle tomorrow. So I get to look forward to that. It's a good job painting birds. I am still studying ornithology, although it is kind of taking the backside a little bit because this commission we have is huge and time is a ticking on us. Got just a few weeks left and more than a few weeks of work. I was spending my time. I revamped the newsletter, so there'll be a lot more content now. Guys, I'm gonna work through this 5-minute break because I feel like I'm behind. And I don't wanna lose time, and it happened fast. Coffee or the hot chocolate's cooler, so maybe I'm just losing my mind. Keith and Jeff out there in the spacey world of the computer. The last time I used these pan pastels was when we had that, I passed through on this book, that other model. I think that was like almost a year ago. It was when the thing that happened to all people that's happening right now first started. I'm not going to mention it because YouTube robots, the beer bug, call it that. It's the last time I used these things. It's like I'm always torn between what the practice is about, what it's for, what am I trying to improve upon, and today was actually just a little bit for fun. So, not being so serious, although my voice might sound serious, sounds very, very serious right now. But I drew Sarabella last week, the old style, kind of. Newsprint and all that jazz. So I figured this week I would take a slightly different approach. Before we're done, it's going to be a long weekend again. Okay. I'm a little worried about spraying it, seeing what happens though. It's all part of the process. Just keep working down, following those lines I put in. I'm barely, like, I'm still looking at my reference, but barely, because I know I just have to fill in these shapes that I already established. You know, they might be softened like that. But my eraser can do some of that work later as well, if need be. Or adding a dark, adding more dark. It's not as appealing a sound as the scratchiness of pencil, but it's got something to it. So in between the light and the dark of her hair, there's more reddish tone. So I'm just wiping off what I have here a little bit. I'll probably erase out and draw on top, but let's give little SB a little bit of that up there, and it helps unify the whole thing. There'll be a little bit more pink there in the cheek. I might just leave it straight up. It looks kind of cool, like an old Victorian era profile. They used to make those pendants. Nobody wears those pendants anymore. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna start an Etsy and I'm gonna become a millionaire. Okay. I may have to be erasing out or putting the white on top for some of these pearls. That's the other thing. I gotta hurry because those pearls, those are gonna be a nightmare. The good kind of nightmare though. A drawing nightmare. Last night I had watched James Bond, and I'll admit to it, the other night I watched James Bond, the Daniel Craig love story. And I cried. Poor Vesper. Poor James. It's an emotional time. Oh look, break's over and I'm still gonna work. So, whoa! I just tapped the canvas. Let's see how easy this stuff comes off. Oh, it really comes off easy. So we're gonna go for 23 minutes. I'm just gonna keep working this, guys. So, because I'm just working it, I'm gonna plug in my music into my headphones. So you guys can listen to the heavy breathing, and I'm gonna listen to something to carry me along for 22 minutes while I rock through this. Yeah. Whoop. Okay. Maybe if I don't drop the phone. This phone doesn't keep a charge, so I have to like keep it plugged in all the time. All right. Boom. Oh, so nice. Wow. I might darken the spine here. Looks a little bit blacker. This color actually reminds me of the Michelangelo drawings that I've been doing. Kind of drawing in the same way. Bam. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. Actually, in a way, I kind of feel like this is a little bit like when I was a kid, just coloring. Maybe that's what the draw of doing some pencil crayons has been for me as well. Although I'm hunching my back, and that is bad. My posture has been so good lately. I've been doing yoga every single morning for an hour and a half. I'm on this yoga challenge with this lovely lady, with Sarabella. And for me, yoga is like medieval torture. I am not physically flexible since quitting martial arts over the years. And it's funny because in my mind, I'm like, oh, no problem. You know, I can kick my foot and touch it with my hand, or I can touch my toes. No, I'm old now, and that's not the way it goes. And but you know, these yoga stretches, when you're breathing in them and stuff, they're not positions that my body's used to being in. And so I hurt my back last week. I think it's too because I do 150 push-ups a day, and when you're doing push-ups and yoga and all that in the morning, I think I'm just tightening up my lower back and glutes a little too much. So, gotta take it easy too, right? Be nice to have the muscles and look like Daniel Craig. But also, being injured is no fun either. But doing all this work is really helping out my sitting, my standing, my posture quite a bit. I even ordered one of those back straps that they advertise to everyone on Instagram. Maybe it's just me. Just because when I sit here, you guys can't see it, but I start to hunch a little bit because there's a camera right over my head. I feel its presence. And I don't want to get in the way. And so I make up for it by bending my body in unnatural ways. Plus, after all these years of drawing, I'm actually getting a hunchback. So there's the hazards of drawing, guys. At the donkey. Just be careful. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Keep an eye out for your loved ones. Make sure they're not screwing up. I've had a couple students in here who have just phenomenal posture, and I'm always like, man, wish I had that kind of posture when I was first learning. I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now, having to take yoga, and it feels like a medieval torture. But you could go on Sarabella's website and join me. You don't have to have your Zoom camera on. I'm panting and breathing and wheezing half the time, so I mute myself. It's nice. Just going to use a little bit of kneadable erasers here. Just to soften out. Beauty. Does look, yeah, like that Michelangelo. Like I'm using red pencil. Oh, where's my little makeup brush? I always lose my makeup brush. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yes, Jeff. I see you, chiropractor. I'm up to it. I'm up to it. I mean, want to live a good quality life here. But I bought that back strap to help straighten myself out, to accompany the daily yoga. And I went on this meditation retreat. I say I went on it because I was actually at my house through Zoom, but I was like, it was guided. It was this Buddhist monk, Vajrayana monk, okay, I think that's right, in Montreal. So half of it was in French, which was cool. Realized my comprehension is still fairly good, my speaking out the door, but I could understand what they were saying, and then they would translate. But what it was kindness and mindfulness meditation. But the second day was this crazy meditation about mortality and getting older. And, you know, it was brutal. Thinking about being placed into the coffin. Thinking about, as you get older, your reduced mobility. You know, things we're going to have to face with, but I think we avoid. That'll never happen to me. Happens to every single person. But it was not a pleasant meditation exercise. You know, kind of like going up against the doors you don't want to knock on. So that was very mindful, and most of the people who attended were definitely above their 60s. So I don't know what that experience was like for them. It's definitely challenging for myself. Now, I'm done with this big dark. I think I'm gonna edge it and add some pinks in, and then go back in with drawing with the dark. So I gotta find some pinks, maybe some lightning, maybe even, let's see, what other flesh tone there's. Maybe there's a pinky flesh tone. Permanent red tint might work. It's a little bit cool. But we are doing Rubin's rhythms, which are warm, cool, warm, cool. This red oxide tint might be good. 380.8, I don't know what those numbers mean. I'm going to leave this one out because I might need to go back to it. So I'll just put it right here. Don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, where is red iron oxide tint? Is that it? That's not half bad. Orange. Not even close. Red umber shade. Red tint. Alright. There's got to be a better way of doing this. Hey. I like this. This allows me to fix up some areas. She's a little bit more tanned. It's too orange. That doesn't look like anything I could use. Alright. Alright. That's not what I need. Okay. You know what? I'm here right now. Look at this. I think I found pretty black. Let's use the black for the shadows. Now, I'm going to get a separate tool. They're all dirty and dark, so I guess I'm stuck not doing my lights with them. I can use my finger probably. Like James Bond said at the end of the film. You don't know what I can do with my little pinky. Okay. Yeah, I forgot the feet. That's the example why I might need that red back. Soften the two together. Nice. Not everywhere though. Here we need a hard edge, which I can draw in later because it's a cast shadow. Okay. Keith is saying use the burnt umber for the darks and green for the turn. I like that idea. Cooling it off for sure. I don't think I'm going to do that much color in this one. I'm going to keep it a little bit more traditional. I do want to cool down the turn. I want to make it a little bit pinker. But we're going to run out of time before we can probably get all this in here. All right. Let's turn that form. Maybe we'll darken this. Just gonna blend it in a little bit, but follow the chin line here. Slightly blending it together. Put somewhere her eye is. Just soften it all together. Maybe a little around the nose. Bring the chin up. So it's just a little bit of black on the tool. I'll use the black on this hair too. I'm gonna draw on top still. At least that's my intention. Maybe I won't have to. Would you be surprised if I was listening to 2 Chainz right now? Based off how slow and calm I'm applying this, it's not true. Okay. That looks kind of pretty. Might get the pencil crayons out here too shortly. I gotta, okay, I'll leave this out too. I gotta go back a little bit on that brown. This hand. Okay. Okay, so we got a minute left in this sitting. What should I do here? I'm gonna erase that out. Clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna draw on top, so I'm gonna need to get myself a little bridge. Or, you know what? I have a mall stick right here. Because my painting station's right beside me. So I'll just use a little mall stick here. It's a cheap mall stick. I saw that you could buy these with like skull handles, skeleton handles. But this is what I'll use probably, so that I don't drag my hand over after the break. I will take this break because it's a good idea. Haven't taken one in double time than I should have. And I need to freshen up my mind and think to myself, the heck am I trying to do here? I need to know. So, 50 seconds. Have a sip. Ah, look at that. Drinking that back. So I'm just gonna set the see that. Set it up for 5 minutes. I'll be back. I want to step back and look at this too. I like this red color for sure. It's really, really warm. So I will cool the darkest lights. I want to go pinker, I think. And then, yeah, we'll save the hair for last. So, take 4.5. Oh man. Texts. Jeez, what am I doing wrong here? I'll tell you what I'm doing wrong. I cleaned the microwave out yesterday. Just, you know, part of the daily grind. And then I just put this hot chocolate in to heat it up. And I don't know, there's a smell to that fantastic cleaner that's just gross. So I hope my coffee doesn't, or my hot chocolate doesn't taste gross. Smells alright. What can you do with a drunken sailor? What can you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Oh my god, someone spilled their coffee on that. Way, hey, and up we're rising, way, hey, and up we're rising, hey, hey, and up we're rising early in the morning. It's not exactly what I'm after as I stare at it. It's interesting though. Interesting. I think the face might be my favorite part so far. There's not much there. painting birds all day. Should add wings to this. Okay. I've got less than an hour left, so I'm gonna use this minute here of non-existent time. I mean, it's self-prescribed, so all right. This hemp nut butter tastes really, really strange in this drink. Okay. So, I need to find something a little pinker, cooler. I think that might work. All right, let's do this thing. 23 minutes on the clock. I might just go with this. And I might try a brush now. I don't know. I don't have those little smudgy tools. I gave them to my ex for Christmas. So, let's see. You know, this one looks light enough. Let's do it. Let's try it. We'll see if the edge work here. Oh my God. Is that the worst mistake I could have made or what? Oh Lord. I don't know, guys. That might have been the screw up of the century. Let's see. Oh God. Okay. I might commit. I might commit to this. Whatever. Ah, bunny. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, the coolness works. It's very pink. And good for the inside of the foot. So I've kind of eradicated my background here. Good one. Hey, Mr. Harry. Hey, guys. Thanks for everyone tuning in. It's always nice when you drop in. Even my non-artist friends are dropping in these days. That's brave. If it's not your thing. I think that's cool. I think I don't know. I don't want to it's enough to run this art school, but to worry about SEO and how to get this algorithm on YouTube to work for me. Because I feel like what we're doing here is awesome. I say we because you guys are part of it. But I am gonna cheat and put a little shine on this side of the butt, little reflected light, even though it's shadowed. Okay, just a little there, a little bit here on the mount. This is subtle. It might not be picked up by the camera, which means I'm wasting my time. Get some more of this. How about that? Bam. Like it. It's this is actually a pretty nice flesh color. So I'm rubbing across the line with the color on the tool. Oh yeah. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the brown and try to blend it in a little bit because it's a little bit darker here. Just to create that half tone. Okay. All right. Squint in my eyes. There we go. Squint the eyes. Okay. Let's just blend out the face a little bit more. Put a little bit of pink in her face. Okay, back to grabbing, oh, that was a bad move. Grab a different makeup brush and get back to the dark. And we go back and get some soft darks back in there. Okay, we're gonna finish off the feet and then I'm gonna draw a little bit more. So I actually am gonna change my brown to the dirty umber, I think. I don't want the feet to be as red. Okay, jeez. Okay, okay, come on, Bunny. Okay, there, this brown. On the dirty one. We'll get these dirty feet in, these dirty, dirty feet. That's what happens when the models come to my studio. It's not that different than the black, but okay. That is dark. I could go in and do lots of little darks throughout these shadows. but 10 minutes, not quite enough time to do them all. So I'll just dabble. That's not an art word. Dabble here and there. Dabble, blah, 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 blah. Talking. Use it. Okay. There we go. I don't think I'm brave enough to spray this. But maybe I'm dumb enough to spray it. Oh man. Okay. Okay. We got to get these pearls in here too. My gosh. Bunny, go, go, go. That's going to be tight, guys. It's going to be tight. I guess this is more than a 2.5 to 3 hour drawing, but it's not essential. That reddish color. Little pinkness of the toes. Maybe I'll erase out a little bit too. All right. So, I'm happy. There should be some highlights here, but let's not worry about that just now because we need to do bloody. Okay. All right, where'd that pencil go? Okay, so we need our wonderful invention. I see Keith using these all the time. Wow. You know what I'm going to use? This eraser is already round, so I'm going to use it to draw in my pearls. I think that's the best bet. Hopefully, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but hopefully it's not just my head. I'm gonna pull this down a little bit and back it up and then zoom in a little bit. How's that? How's that, guys? Is that just the back? And I'm just gonna fold this. Oh no! I don't wanna fold that one. Anyways, I'll stick it beside so you can see what I'm going for in case I say things that apply. So here I'm just drawing little circles. I don't need so many here. You see it kind of takes a little bite out of it. Okay, now, it's risky business. So I'm going to draw this in right away, just so I can tell if I'm on the right path, because I've never done this before. I could be out to lunch. It's not really removing much of the pastel like I thought it would. But I'll be drawing dark, so that at least will show up. Okay. We'll just draw some little circles. Well, let it look like this. There's string in between some places too. We won't put them all close together. I like it. I like it. I do want them to touch here. So, what am I doing? I'm gonna erase that area. I prefer this part of the bead. There we go. I'm gonna just make them touch. It's just easier. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Okay. Like, I don't want to be drawing the whole circle because it needs to be light on one side, but it's helping me put them in place, right? It'll look flat if I keep this dark. So when I erase it again, oh geez. Okay. There's a little clasp right there. So let's just see. I'm just gonna lighten up the one side. Because I don't actually want the line there. I do want it on the shadow side. But it makes it look flat. Lines make things look flat, you know? It's like a paper plate or a cutout rather than a sphere. But this is fun right now. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if I go past 9. Honestly, this is yeah, it's only 8:30. This is the fun part. I'll dot white in all of it, and then I'll draw the shadow as well. And I'll let that be black. It's just easier. So we'll make this shadow a cast shadow, and it will just be black. I can fade it to the red. All right. I'll leave the paper as the reflected light, and I'll just put the white at the very top point. Hopefully it's bright enough. All right, let's try this one. Whew, that's a little stressful. So they're nearly touching. Maybe I should draw them first. So they overlap here. So one must sit over the other. We're seeing them this way. So one must sit over the other at first. Okay. Then they drop down to here. There we go. You know, I wonder if I should just have this be 2 strings. It's a little bit less drawing work and it still has the same effect, visually speaking. Whoa, what? Okay, well, I'm gonna take a break. I don't know how long it'll be. Whenever, if you're paying attention, you'll come back to it. Hey, thanks, Navajo. Okay, and I need to put her eye in. Let's take just a little, whatever the break is. I'm going to see a man about a horse. Snap a shot too. Take this out of the way. Okay, I need my mask. I can't go out of the hall without it. Where is it? Okay. Now, how am I doing? I bought these. A big piece of pie, that's some more, baby. Sweet. Hey, this doesn't look terrible. It's okay. Let's get back at her. Okay. So I'm going to tilt it up. I'm not really blending any colors yet. Well, the stuff blends really nice. I washed my hands, obviously. Went to the bathroom. And it's often nice to come back. I would love to draw in it more, like I've done here. But we got to finish up these pearls. That's the next task. This could be one of those drawings that goes over time. We'll see. We'll see. We're just playing. 23 minutes though. Yeah, it's definitely going over time. You guys don't have to stay. Yeah, you could just hang out and you can go over time too. Today is my longest day, and I woke up with a pretty bad headache. I think the weather's changing. I'm one of those lucky non-Calgary people who sometimes is affected by the pressure of the Chinooks. I don't think I'm getting sick or anything. It's just that kind of headache. I stayed up with my roomie and we watched James Bond. So it also was a little bit of a late night for me. They're starting to add up. Tonight, hopefully not that late. Because I do have to get up very early to live the life that I want to live. I get more stuff done by 9 than probably most people get done in their whole day. But it's things that I need to do, things that I want to and have to. The yoga's an hour and a half. So that's the choice I've made right now in this life. To kick some butt and mastery, right? I know we don't have to rush towards this thing. But you should always be pushing yourself towards discomfort. That's where growth lives. Probably just read too many self-help books. But, you know, we're all in this situation. I feel like we should take advantage of. Some people have a lot of time. I'm not allowed to open the school insofar. So I've become the student myself. This is part of being a student, coming to these things and learning, practicing. So I'm hiding from the, you guys have seen this before, an artist avoiding the thing that they don't want to do, which is these pearls. So I'm going to get some mileage out of the hair here while I can. I mean, it doesn't even really need to be done, let's be honest. I wouldn't mind getting her eye in though. I'm actually guessing. Often I put this eye in the wrong place. Charcoal feels weird on top of this material. That's another thing about this art stuff is like, a lot of it is by feel. Not just what you see and what you know, but like, I mean, it feels different. I mean, everything has got its sweet spot, right? Even probably flying a plane and stuff. I can't do it, so I say maybe, right? I don't know how to fly a plane yet. It is a life plan. Always wanted to fly a plane. Actually, more specifically, helicopter. When I was teaching at ACAD, one of my students was actually a pilot, and we were going to go out. It's quite expensive to get your pilot's license. At the time, it seemed worth it. Now I gotta wait. Now I gotta wait a little bit. Wow. Well, that part I like. Sometimes you luck out, you know? So, gonna soften the edge of her hair a little bit. Need that. I said it was gonna be illustrative. That line is doing it. So I have to get close here, guys. So this is mostly about making the view for you and inspiring you guys, but sometimes I gotta get in there and do what I gotta do. So I'm just gonna draw the hairs that cross over, not all the way down. There's some hairs that go like this. It's more to give the impression that I've done a lot more work than I have. I'm not trying to get every hair in. Maybe just a little, because hair is a texture. But if you draw every hair, because it's line, it'll flatten out your drawing. I'll make that part a little darker. It's a little bit more golden up here as well, her hair. I don't know if I'll have time for that. Let's get some of these circles here. So, and they're overlapping. So the one closest to us is the first one to draw. And then the next one. So you don't see the whole sphere as they wrap around. And they get smaller as they go. Whoop, there we go. There's 2 around the neck. So I can get away with 2 around the body. In part, it's time saving. And I have that nice red shadow under it already. I need to add some there. I might just do it with a pencil crayon though. It's because it's easier to control. Okay, so I need to continue the circle up and over here. It pinches up into her neck. This is the shadow. And so, I'll just blend the 2 together so that it doesn't look like it has anything to do with the pearls. I should have sharpened. Talking with this in my mouth. Dear, I should have sharpened the stencil, but they get closer and closer together. And this one is above it. And they're in shadow, so they're going to be a dark gray actually. I might not even have to, I just put a tiny little highlight on them. I might not have to describe them much more. So shadows. Shadows. Because pearls aren't pure white, they're kind of more of this color that I got in there right now. Putting in that red shadow under the pearls. Reddish brown. There we go. Sorry, I'm gonna use the eraser down at the bottom here to draw some of these folds in the foot. I feel like if I'm missing them, I lose a little bit of resolution. Since I've gone this far, I can't omit them. I mean, I could, but it seemed wrong. Let's take a little one out here. I met Sarah when I gave a talk to the master's degree students when she was in school to be an artist at University of Calgary. And after that talk, we've been friends ever since. And I would go to ballet with her and her mom. And then she started doing more modeling in the art scene, and I happened to open an art school. So I have a lot of photos and stuff that when I first opened up, Sarah helped me with. Having stuff for classes that I own, I was really worried about copyright and things like that. And it's funny because now I'm doing a rendition off a photo. I don't know where this photo came from, but it's on her Patreon and all that stuff, so you can find it. But trying to keep it on the up and up at any rate. And so for my students, not just, I was using Google and stuff in the beginning. But you know, in this woke world, you got to be so careful these days. The haters are always going to hate. So you also don't, like when you're studying at home or doing this sort of thing, you can get your resources from anywhere. But right now the models also, they have no work. So if we can support them in any way, hire them. Can't do any group stuff, sharing the cost really. I'm eagerly anticipating things changing. According to the fire marshal and the rules here at the building, I'm only allowed 2.5 people in this studio. So my little dog friend gets to hang out while me and Doug are painting. Actually, he brought his little dog friend today, Lucy. It's in part because I'm on the top floor, so even if I could have I can have like one person come visit, really. That's what I got right now. The restrictions are, it's funny, I mean, I go to Safeway and everyone's in there, but I can't have me and my group of friends with masks sitting super far away from each other. And I don't want to be put to the stake because we're not following the rules. Even though artists are probably the first front line to breaking them. I also have to think like a business person. I don't want to lose my spot here at C-Space because I'm doing something stupid. Or in the political climate, having people be mad at me because I decided to host drawing. So that kind of sucks. I'm sure people felt this way in previous world wars and things. So their neighbors carted them away. Not making any links. Not directly on a recorded device here. We can talk about that in private. My oldest student in drawer is chomping at the bit to get in here. He emailed me yesterday and today. Breaks my heart. Can't do anything here. I like his version. If it hasn't killed me yet, it's not gonna kill me. You guys probably know who I'm talking about who are watching. We're only letting him down. Sucks. Where there's not lost edges, I'm gonna just put a little charcoal on top. Okay. Just adding some things. But what am I really doing? Just avoiding these pearls again. Jeez, caught myself. That's why it's kind of like a meditation. You know, your mind wanders off. That's starting to come out nicely. Maybe this is how I was using the eraser earlier. Come on, pearls. Get off. Just keep at it. Keeping at it. This is going to be such a small detail, but probably so worth it. I should probably draw on the hands a little bit too. Okay, that pearl got a little big. Where's my makeup brush? This is turning out to be one of those drawings that I could spend many more hours on. I didn't expect that. Maybe it's one of those drawings too because it's a little bit more fun. I'm gonna do yoga in the studio tomorrow probably instead of at my house. We'll see what happens. I'm taking a sharper pencil this time. The other one's pretty dull. That's my bad. It's really mostly the artist's fault. As hard as we are on ourselves already, like we have to admit it's an analog thing and we're the one doing it. So we have to be the ones to take responsibility for doing it well. Doing it right, doing it well. After that meditation retreat that I did, the dark and difficult one, I also ordered myself some more mala beads. I helped count my way through it. So I could see myself probably drawing on this. Sorry, am I still even on? Okay, sorry, I was low. Anyways, another hour or two. Now that I like the piece, and I always limit myself in these live streams because it's really training for when we have the model in here. Oh. Ellipse timer. So we're after 9. So if you're here on a certain time, I'll tell you, we're after 9. You're welcome to keep it on. I'm going to go for 25 more minutes. Get these beads in and draw on this hand a little bit. And then we'll call her quits. for this drawing. For now, I could, like I said, I could go in and do all this like cool sketchy stuff that really adds depth. It's subtle, but it does a lot for this type of drawing in terms of it being more illustrative, having some line, more texture rather than just overall shape. Like I can just put just a little bit there and it just changes the whole thing. I like to do it around the where the edges are blending. Cools it off a little bit too. So it's kind of like cross hatching. Sure puts a lot more depth to it though. This is just charcoal I'm doing it with. This is the lost edge. I'm going to lose it a little more. This softens the whole thing. Like your butt just disappears into the floor. And maybe, just maybe, draw a little bit of a line down there. Just so I know what's reflected light and what's shadow. I would probably cross hatch down here and turn along with the form. Put some more underneath the beads so that we know that it's shadow. Okay. You know, for social media purposes, putting this on, or I don't even know if the resolution on this is going to be good enough to see all these little nuances I'm making. I could zoom in. Or you could come in person and take a look at this drawing. Some of my students come and visit on, and also Jennifer has a show currently at C-Space. So if you want to see it, it keeps getting bigger every day she comes. She puts more and more work in. I could also take a brown pencil and do some of this drawing work. Like the Conte. Okay, so a couple more circles. This will be the one that's closest to us. Will be this string. So I'm just erasing it out, but following the light line that's left. It overlaps, it's closer to us than the other beads. Pearls. Sorry, plastic beads, plastic pearls. There's no way those are real. Too long, too uniform. But you never know. So I'm putting in some shadows, some dark reflections onto them. It's just a little scrubby action. But it should have a big effect when I put the white on. Just dotting it. It almost doesn't even need it because the paper's light. They'll be whiter at the top too. But let's keep it coming. Keep working. Labor of love at this point. Okay. Looks like some detail. So really when doing these shadow shapes, you've just got to be aware of where the light is coming from. So that's kind of where you draw the darkest line. The core just on the other side of the lightest light. And often it connects to the bead beside it because the bead is right beside it is putting up reflected light. So it gives us like connection. The ones at the bottom tend to be darker. These ones happen to have shadow from the other one as well. But because I only drew one to save myself time, it's less complicated. I don't have to do shadows and reflections from one bead sitting over the other. Pearl, sorry, once again. Hopefully I've got a sharp white ready somewhere here so that I can just dot it quickly. It's a bit wobbly here. That's just when one bead gets a little bigger than the others. Gotta take it down a little bit. Otherwise it doesn't look like it's on the same string. So they come up back this one. And these overlap this way. So I'm using the line that I previously drew as the bottom so that they look a little more smoother. There are lots of other ways to draw this. Just like lessons on how to draw a chain. Not so dissimilar actually. Oh, going a little too far to the right. One look more natural. There we go. And then the shadow. Like a C shape. That way they don't look like a flat disc, they'll look like spherical. Practice drawing your spheres. The hardest shape, probably the most important. We draw the head as round, the butt's round. So you definitely start with cubes, cylinders, then cones, then spheres. If you're looking for the order to learn them in. Of course, nobody sticks to these plans. They tend to get bored easily. But you got to do the work to get good at this stuff. So let's also work on this hand a little bit. Just to give it a little more, make it look like I did a little more work than I did. Rather than just abandoning it at this point as unfinished. as it is, it can still look more real. Just with a little bit of line work on top. A little bit of a shadow there. That's enough. That's enough. I'm just gonna use a little shading too on Sarah's face here. Just to give her some more depth. Her eye's a little close to her nose here. But we're gonna let it live like that now. Because of time, guys. I'm not trying to make finished work for editorial, but I will say a little secret is that I got asked to do a publish commission, but it's not till April, so anything can happen between now and then. But it's a pretty nice one, and it should be fun because it's using the skills that I have and the ones that I like to use. So hopefully in due time it comes through. I've known the client for 4 years, so I think that it's gonna go pretty good. Like, the deal's gonna go through. I still might turn it down though. Depends on my timing at that time. Right? Things have been busy down Studio Bunny's way. Okay, let's get some lights in. Yay! Now for the lights, you zoomed out all the way? Oh, for the lights, look at this mess. This is what I'm dealing with. I had this little, I might have moved all the lights off this tray. Oh, and then I found that tool. I have some lights here. There we go. Let's just brush that off a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can be a little bit cheaty, and I'm gonna put a little bit of light in her eye. Might be a bad mistake. And a little bit of light in the teeth. It's totally not what I see. I do see some along this fingernail. Okay, and then a few strands in the hair. I always like really short hair. I think it looks good on girls. Also manageable. And then we're going to crush this by dabbing in all these pearls. Not all, some are under shadow. But having that little speck of light. Shaboinga. I like it. So, can I make it go faster? No. A gel pen would work. I'm not going to spray this, guys. It's too risky. Maybe I should just see what happens. I'll take a photo of it and then I'll spray it and then maybe I'll cry. I have real fixative too. I won't go the thrifty Portuguese route, which is to use the hairspray. Not cheap, I'm thrifty. That's what you learn being a starving artist for so long. Actually, I don't even like that term, starving artist, because it's easy enough to find food. I mean, you're not starving per se. Not in today's day and age, fortunately, right? But some sort of other type of destitute for the artist. Pushed into the chasms of non-essential. I'm not doing the reflected light on these either. It's supposed to be the yellow of the paper. Now there's talk about the background. I like Jeff's comment about the green. That really would make this pop a lot. I'm not going to put a background on it today, but he's right about that green, because that cool green is complementary to this almost orange reddish brown. So like a soft blue would be nice too, but she's on this color pretty much. But I'm just gonna have her float. It's find how it is, you know? I kept it fairly clean as well. I miss the days of like sitting at a drawing for 6 to 12 hours. I really do. Hopefully this commission allows for that. Like even these long poses aren't that long. It's like a 3-hour session, but you're drawing for what, 2 and a bit with all the breaks and the setup and the takedown after. You're actually here almost, well, Keith's here like 4.5 hours, like me, or furniture, like the furniture. If you don't know Keith or follow him and you're watching this video right now, Keith Springall, his name's in the his name is up there in the chat. I highly recommend it. He is producing some great work and constant time-lapse videos. It's going to put me out of followers, but he should have hundreds of thousands. I don't know if we're not using this algorithm right. We're not computer savvy dudes, but I feel like we're not getting the respect for what we do. To me, he's the hardest working guy in the arts in this city. I don't know about other cities. Everyone's probably got a Keith in their city, kicking ass and taking names. I need like a money manager and a business person so that I can just make art. I spend 80% of my time doing that rather than making stuff. Just because I'm too small. I'm just a self-employed guy, so gotta always be hustling. The glamour, this is the glamour, this part. And it doesn't happen as often as it should. So we're not doing any, well, okay, maybe I'll do one here. Let's just see what that does. I wasn't gonna do any white highlights, but I might go in and like draw some highlights on some muscles. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of the red there and soften that up. I can see now why get these pan pastels are like fascinating to, now I want to use them every day. I don't have every day, but this is really fun. And that part was the quickest. Saved a lot of time. When I was in school and in design, it was like you spent 6 hours on these pearls. No quickie. A lot of people got through art school and all that doing quick things, but you know, it depends what you're after. There's no real set rule. Figure out what it is you want to do and just go after that. you jump between things too much, novelty, you'll never arrive at your destination. You'll always be distracted. So don't do that if possible. Okay, I think I said that's all I was going to do. I got 3 minutes left. Just darken under these pearls a little bit, signifying some shadows. This sucker's going to get a signature here as well. Oh, sorry, my head's in the way again. See, I need a manager. Someone to just sit in the room and be like, Bonnie, they could read a book, look up every now and again and be like, what are you doing? But people, their time and their cost money. So we'll just do it like this. You guys come for free. Check it out. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, help me with the YouTube algorithm. Help me grow this channel if you can. I would love to actually, this is what I did. This is I talk to the air, although it'd be nicer to have you guys in here. Don't get me wrong. And then I draw and explain stuff. And then do crazy things on the weekend. Talk about the Tibetan meditation and death. Why not? Why not? I would love to be a YouTube person, but you know, when you see these YouTube guys, like, I think pretty quick in the game you are placating an audience. You know, there's like all these guys who do giveaways, or I don't know, it's like you're clickbaiting and you have to change your ways. I want to do what I want to do, and right now I'm doing what I want to do and nobody wants it. So obviously if I want to do what I want to do, I'm gonna have to do it on my own dollar and my own time, and that's fine. Who knows how long this YouTube thing's even gonna be popular with all the other options. Maybe I'll go to the talk. Okay, so, oh, remember to squint. What? Oh my God, Keith, I don't have that much time to keep squinting. Okay, let's okay, that could come out. Yeah, down here could be darker. When I squint, I don't know where that little makeup tool went. That could be a little bit darker. Things get everywhere. They're a little chaotic. Whoa, these ones aren't even attached. So this one must go here. Just take my finger. I'm just gonna go over it softly, just to knock it down a little bit further. I could see why the pastel paper would be better. It's a little bit grittier. But so far, in the time given, which is the time we've just hit, I'm pretty happy with it. So let me just tilt this towards the screen a little bit. I will post the picture on the old Instagram and Facebook and all that other stuff. That's fun. A little slice of life going on there right now. Trying to keep the people happy. I hope you guys enjoy how that piece turned out. Let's sign it up. Let's just put a little signature on this bad boy. Because it seems like the thing you do. February 17th. 2021. There it is. I miss you guys. I hope you keep joining me while we do this. This one went so well. Next week maybe I'll do something, we'll go even crazier. I'm fairly reserved in this because I want these videos to turn out and I don't want to seem the fool. But I haven't used pan pastels too many times and I really enjoyed how that turned out. Also, I mean, this pose is incredible. She looks like a swan. You know, it could be right up there with the French style sculpture and the Belas Art, or École de Beaux-Arts. Sorry, I went on Portuguese there. All places I've checked out, love their work. Yeah, I think this is done. We're gonna leave. It looks really red on your screen, but it's not as colorful in person. Thank you all again for joining me. Drop me a line. Please feel free to come see it in person. I am lonely. Although the dog follows me everywhere. I haven't seen any of my art people. Normally, you know, I'm seeing upwards 30 to 60 people a week normally. And now it's me and Doug and a dog. So if you want a critique or you want to talk shop or you want to have a coffee and we keep our social distance and all that jazz, please, we can chat. It also depends whether or not I have the time. I'm an early bird, so earlier is better for me. I got 2 more pages left in this pad, I think. 2. So 3 more weeks. So that should get us into the first week of March if I'm keep working on this. Other than that, I'm really just talking out to the air. And I appreciate your time, your focus for watching, listening, following along, drawing, liking, comment, sharing, subscribing, and all that jazz. But for now, I'm just gonna stand up and use my dark blackish hair as the fade out. Ciao for now, guys. It's not quite totally black.